Thanks so much for joining today's webinar. My name is Luzanne Lottering. I am the Marketing Manager here at Cardiolog Analytics, and I will go ahead and kick things off. Just want to say thank you to everyone that joined. I see there are a lot of people. Welcome, Paul and Rita. So, hi, Joy, hi, Rajesh. So, I am going to get started. Today's webinar is on firing up SharePoint Online and other Microsoft collaboration platforms. Great. So, just a little bit of housekeeping. This webinar is being recorded. If you want to share this with a colleague, we will go ahead and send an email with the recording after today's session. And of course, if you have any questions, please send them through the questions box within the GoToWebinar panel. And I'll leave some time towards the end for some Q&A. And you can also connect with us on Twitter with the Twitter handle @Cardiolog. In regards to the agenda for today's webinar, we'll start out with a very short introduction. We will talk a bit about Cardiolog Analytics and who we are. And then we'll discuss why Office 365 Analytics is so important and why it is crucial to track usage and productivity in the different collaboration platforms. And then I will go into more detail about our tool and walk you through how you can pinpoint and support your inactive users, how to encourage greater employee collaboration, how to boost adoption and consumption, and also how to boost productivity in all of these different Office 365 environments that we track. And then I will also discuss reasons organizations don't see good adoption of Office 365 and these other Microsoft collaboration platforms such as Teams. And I will show you how high-level Office 365 usage data teamed up with targeted campaigns can give you all the in-depth insights and tools you need to drive usage, to drive productivity in those platforms, and ultimately also increase your return on investment. And then at the end, we'll be taking some Q&A. So feel free to send your questions throughout the course of the presentation. So a little bit about Cardiolog Analytics. I'll just do a brief introduction. Cardiolog Analytics has been around for about 15 years now, since 2005. And we are based out of Boston. And over the past 15 years, we've been focused on analytics and engagement designed for SharePoint, for Teams, and for Office 365. Our flagship solution is Cardiolog Analytics, and it's built specifically for internal platforms, really including all versions of SharePoint, from 2010 up to 2019, as well as what we are discussing today, SharePoint Online, also Microsoft Teams, OneDrive, Yammer, and Exchange. So in terms of our customers, we serve customers globally in about every industry, from healthcare to finance to pharmaceutical, government, education, and many others. And just so you know, our solution is available both on-prem and as a SaaS version based on Power BI. So our goal is to help our customers to constantly improve Office 365 based on how it's being used. So there are 4 pillars that we talk to our customers about. And the first pillar is monitoring, which is tracking the usage within SharePoint and Teams and OneDrive and Exchange. The second is engaging users, asking them what their needs are, asking them what their pain points are, and what's not working for them. And then the next pillar is to enhance, very important, because we want to make sure that we are constantly improving SharePoint and improving Teams and so on based on those first 2 pillars that I've mentioned. So the idea is to have not only metrics, but actionable metrics, which will then allow us to constantly make Office 365 platforms better for our users. And then finally, the last pillar is securing Office 365 by enforcing permissions and access and identifying breaches of information and security and securing confidential data. So let's get to our topic today. Firing up SharePoint Online and other Microsoft collaboration platforms. So the business landscape is obviously changing. Employees seek purpose and satisfaction, and employers aim to harness worker ingenuity. And as a diverse and multi-generational workforce can now work, obviously, as we've come to know, anywhere, anytime. And the only way that there could be success in terms of this, the success will obviously depend on an organization's ability to collaborate and to drive productivity within teams spread across the globe. So if adopted and used, Office 365 meets those evolving business needs. It is a suite of powerful tools that optimize productivity in today's corporate landscape. So we understand that adopting new technology involves change, and change can be daunting. And even for the most innovative and cutting-edge organizations, it's daunting. So that is why it's important for businesses to take adoption seriously. So the insights and tools I will share with you today, it is for your organization to maximize the power of the organization's investment. Adopting multiple integrated technologies that now form Office 365. And the successful adoption of new technology requires behavior change, and change can be hard, as we all know. So it takes more than just learning a new app. It's a fundamentally different way of working. So it's all about people. And that's not really the focus today, but it's worth mentioning. So we know from experience that change doesn't happen automatically, and most employees don't want to use new technology rolled out by their organization. But in fact, organizations are now looking to further improve productivity and collaboration in SharePoint and Yammer and Teams and OneDrive. And to deal with the challenge we are now facing, actually all organizations need performance and usage data because it's important to know if and how users are using SharePoint and using Teams and so on, but also what their experience is in those platforms. So I will show you today how high-level data teamed up with targeted campaigns can give you all of the in-depth insights and tools you need to drive not only Office 365 usage, but productivity. And that is where the firing up comes from. Driving productivity and collaboration in the different platforms, as well as increasing the number of people using those platforms. And I will reveal what most users are doing in the SharePoint portal, and also I'll give hints here and there about improving migration for SharePoint, enhancing search in Office 365 applications, boosting OneDrive sharing, posting in SharePoint, ensuring the use of Microsoft Teams over Exchange and things such as that. So nothing will make more sense than actually hopping into a demo environment and showing you all of these solutions in action and how they can be leveraged to do as promised. So with that said, there we go. Hop into the demo environment so I can show you those solutions in action. So we have, first of all, a long list of reports across many dashboards where I'll show you some high-level data. So let's start here with the analytics part. Here you can see, in terms of SharePoint, the SharePoint tree structure, where I can track as many environments as I like. And you see that we do track both online and obviously on-prem. me show you. Just there we go. So in terms of online, you can see some of the things that we are obviously able to track. So in this particular overview dashboard, we are seeing data about content, about adoption, about search. But say, for example, we are looking here at adoption, you can see data by departments. And this is how you know who is not very active. And the whole point here is so you can then target those users who need more training, who maybe need more support. And what that will do is improve their adoption rates. And the same could be said here for content. Here we can see the most active or the most popular content based on these page view numbers. So say, for example, we launched a new HR site, or we have a new Corona policy, or we have a document about what's new in Teams. We can see here if people are actually taking advantage of that content. And once we know about this, we can launch a campaign and make sure that these users and these people are in fact aware of that wonderful new HR site or that important policy, or they are aware of those great new features in Teams. And this is how, with this information and taking action with this, is how we drive the usage and the productivity and the collaboration of these amazing platforms in order to fire up Office 365 and getting that great return on investment. We can also flip that around. If I select here, 1 second, and there we go. Now I'm showing you all the inactive content. So that is the content not being used often, or in this case, not at all. And that could be sites or documents or pages or more. So all the unused content, but now I know about this. So I'm empowered to take action and make the improvements needed. And that could be deleting or archiving or notifying everyone about it, maybe adding a link from the homepage or launching the campaign in order to promote it. So you can see there's lots of really wonderful, and the keyword here, actionable data. I quickly want to hop also into search optimization. Give it a second. There we go. So in order to improve search, we have to ask ourselves, is everyone looking for the same document or the same page? If that is the case, let's surface that content so it's easier to find, right? So here on the top left, you can see that the top search term is business data, for example. So if everyone in the company is searching for this term, business data, let me select this and filter the entire dashboard by this one search term. And now you can see that this search term has been searched over 800 times. So if I multiply that by over 60 seconds per search, you can see that it's a lot of time wasted looking for just this one piece of content or this one search term. But now that I know about it, we might maybe add a link from the homepage to this particular search term, and that will save a lot of wasted time. It will most certainly improve overall productivity in the organization, and it will definitely help adoption as well, because as the technology becomes easier to use, people will come back and they will use it more often. If I continue here with search, we can also see important things here, such as, do I have a high level of failed search? So at the top here, we can see the successful versus failed searches for each search term, in this case, business data. So this is actually quite concerning. It's quite a high failed search rate because only half of those who actually search for this clicked on the result. So that means that even more time is being wasted as well. But once we have this data, we have obviously a way of making improvements. So these are all metrics that impact adoption in a negative way, because if it's difficult for me to find something, I'm not going to be eager to come back and use the technology again. I also want to hop into a couple of dashboards here to show you, for example, in terms of other Office 365 environments. If we look at adoption, we can see the number of active users versus inactive users in all of these different Office 365 environments, from SharePoint to Teams to Yammer to Exchange to OneDrive, to really get a good indication of how users and how departments in this case are adopting these platforms. And what's really neat is you can track that over time to see if once you have this data, you take action based on it, and then you can come back to see if taking action and actually trying to change the user behavior and drive the user behavior that you want, what effects it had on the amount of active versus inactive users. And we can say the same for engagement. We can see in each of these different Office 365 environments how my users are engaging with these platforms, which platform are they using to view and read documents, where are they commenting and replying the most? Is it SharePoint? Is it Teams? Is it Yammer? Where's most content being liked? And also where's most content being shared, to really get a good understanding of my activity and productivity within these platforms. And then the same for consumption, we can really get a good indication of how my users are consuming these platforms, which platform is being used to send messages and emails the most. Is it Teams? Is it Yammer? Is it Exchange? Which platform is being used most to send files and attachments? Where are most of my meetings being held? Teams has really great meeting features, so I want to maybe make sure that all of the users are using that platform. I see it's not the case, so I can take action, and again, with my date slider over a period of time, track to see if the amount of meetings being held in Teams is actually increasing. And the same with storage being used. So this is just some of the data that you can get with Cardiolog Analytics, and the whole point is to use this data to take action in order to get more users to be active, to be engaged, to be collaborative, to be productive. And let me hop into a couple of dashboards and reports also for Teams, which you will see is really, really neat. If we, for example, look here at Teams, we can look at, first of all, access type. So this usage report shows that not many users are using a certain device to access Teams. So this may indicate that users aren't sure how to do so. So now we know, and maybe we can post a step-by-step installation instructions for that specific device. And what will that do? It will obviously help to drive usage of a wider device range. So more users with more devices are actually being driven to be more productive and more collaborative in the Teams platform. What if we look here at private versus public messages? The usage report shows that users are primarily, or in this case only, using Teams for private chats. So what does that tell me? This example tells me that my organization might want to review our team scenarios because clearly the users are chatting outside of these initial teams and channels that were set up for them. So by having these valuable insights, you can reach out to your users to change their user behavior in order for them to be more productive and be more collaborative. If we hop over to team overview, first of all, we can see all of our current teams. But say, for example, I want to see data just for a specific team. In this case, I've selected the management team for the sake of the demonstration. I can also select which channel I want to filter the data by. And say, for example, I select a channel, you can see that immediately the dashboard filters only by that specific channel. And what's really neat here is you can see your users and their activity type. So are my users active because they are sending channel messages, they are sending chat messages, they are making calls, or they are having meetings? And that gives me a really good indication of Are they active? How active are they? And what are they active with? And if I hop over to Teams activity, there we go. So this dashboard, we can see which teams are more active. And we can filter that by the number of members, channels, messages, replies, mentions, like really any data that you are curious about to see which teams are more active or inactive and need a little more training and a little bit more support. You can see this particular team hasn't been active in the last 2 months, 3 months. Maybe I see they haven't been active in the last month. It really depends. And then obviously I can go and take action based on this data. So what's really nice is we can see who our top teams are and also how active each top team is. And that gives also a really good benchmark of what a productive or a successful team looks like for your organization. And that could also be filtered by office, that can be filtered by department, and that really gives you some great insights on how different locations and how different groups are using Teams and what their top level of activity looks like. And then if we quickly hop into influential users, in this dashboard, you can see down to user level, and you can see who your influential users or your champions are. So these are my users that I can reach out to and invite to share some tips or host a quick session explaining some how-tos on using Teams in order to motivate and support those inactive users. And then if we quickly hop over to influential content before I show you what we are going to do with this data and these insights to actually drive user activity and productivity in these platforms. I just want to show you real quick. So for each team and channel, you can see if they are sharing files and if they are using apps or if they are adding applications. So say, for example, I noticed that a specific team hasn't added an app. It might be that they don't know that it's a functionality. So when we train, this really helps to inform our training to know where to focus our training on. And this also gives you a good indication if my users are just using this platform to maybe as a chat-based platform, or are they actually using it to be productive and to be collaborative. So with all of this data, you can maybe if a team hasn't been very active in the last 40 days, you can intervene and drive the activity or the user behavior you want. The whole point is to further engage these end users, and everything here in Cardiolog Analytics gets used in Cardiolog Engage. So what that means is all of this information about their departments and their office and their usage habits, what sites they visited, we will use this powerful information to send the right message to the right user at the right time in order to fire up their overall Office 365 usage and productivity. So that means if I have noticed that there are maybe users who did not interact with Yammer, interact with Microsoft Teams, search for something in SharePoint, then I can send a very targeted message to this very specific audience. So those will be my inactives. Maybe they haven't been interacted with Microsoft Teams in the last, let's say, 1 month, then I can send a message to them based on how long they've been inactive for. So I don't want to bombard everyone with that message. I want to send the message only to that audience that needs to get the message. Maybe I've noticed that there are users belonging to a specific department in SharePoint, or a specific group in Yammer, or a specific team in Teams who hasn't been very active, or who hasn't read the new policy or viewed the new HR site. I want to send a message to them. Those are the users who are lagging in terms of adoption, lagging in terms of activity, lagging in terms of productivity. So they are the users I want to reach out to. They are the users that need to get the right message at the right time. So I will select them as my audience. So this message can be sent to them as a text message now that everyone is working remotely, maybe a quick text message with a reminder, with a link back to a file or a link back to Teams. Maybe they're very active in SharePoint, so a quick pop-up in SharePoint will be the most effective channel to communicate with certain users. I can send them a pop-up with a reminder about the new HR site, about the new CEO blog post, about a new feature or app in Teams that they can start using to be productive or to be collaborative and to help them fulfill their goals and aims. So it really depends on what we see in the data, and that we will use to launch these very effective campaigns. So maybe a quick text message, or what is better than driving them to a certain platform than sending that message right within that platform. So maybe they are not very active in Teams and I want to drive them to start using Teams more, to start being more productive and collaborative in Teams, to start having meetings in Teams. I can send them a quick message right within Teams. So after you've selected your channel, you will write your quick message. You can say, I've noticed you haven't been very active in Teams in the last month. Please give me some feedback as to why that is. So the communication is also bi-directional. Or you can send them a link to a specific file. You can send them a reminder about something. In that case, you will give a single choice as your call to action. Maybe you want to invite them to Teams training or training of a specific type, or you just want them to confirm that they've received something, or no call to action at all. You just want to quickly send them a link or a reminder. So this message can be sent to them at a specific date and time, or immediately, or based on their behavior in SharePoint. So when they are scrolling down a specific page or viewing a specific page, or maybe whilst they're busy performing a search, at that moment they are focused, they're active, they're engaged. So what better time for this pop-up to appear or this message to appear with this reminder about this file they have to collaborate on, about a reminder about a new app they can now add to Teams, a reminder about the fact that they have access to Teams in the first place, a reminder about the new HR site or the new CEO blog post. So it really depends on what we see in the data, and we will use that and take action based on that in order to drive the user behavior that we want, to get more users to be active, more users to be productive in all of these different Office 365 environments. And that is what will give your organization the great return on investment by actually using these platforms and environments in the most productive, collaborative way possible, as it was intended. So even though Office 365 is an extremely powerful set of tools for you and your business, designed, like I said, to help you become more productive with less effort, Office 365 gives businesses the tools they need to work effectively while taking advantage of the cloud. Not only are there productivity apps for your day-to-day work, but it is a great set of tools to help overall productivity. An advanced analytics report gives your organization these powerful insights into how Office 365 platforms like SharePoint and Teams are used in that organization. And using these reports to get a view into usage and user activity, and like I mentioned earlier, device usage across your organization is a great way to ensure optimal performance and usage. And that is the takeaway I wanted to leave you with today. So please do send us any questions you may have in the GoToWebinar questions box. I will quickly check my box if I have any questions. Okay, I see I have a couple of questions, so I am quickly going to answer these questions for you. I see I have a question from Thomas. Thomas asked about a trial. Do we have a trial? Yes, Thomas. We do have a trial. We have a free trial. And we also have a proof of concept for people who maybe want a longer evaluation, or for people who want to try more environments or more features, versus the limited trial, which is free but limited. So you can contact us directly. I will show you at the end the contact details, and we can give you more information about what is included in each. I also have a question from Karim. Are the solutions available for purchase in AppSource? Yes, Karim, they are. Both these solutions that I've shown you, the analytics as well as the engagement part, or solutions, are available in AppSource, and you can find them under apps. And then I see I have two more questions. I do have enough time to go through both of these. I have a question from Gabrielle. Does it take a long time to deploy? That's actually a very good question. We get that often. So Gabrielle, what's really neat about this tool, that because it's designed for SharePoint, there's no need for customization when you want to deploy. So basically with our setup wizard, you can get it up and running, I would say within an hour or two, and already start collecting data. And then just also in terms of pricing, obviously for the SaaS solution, it is a yearly subscription based on the number of users we will be tracking. You can get more information on the pricing on our website. Again, I will give the information on my very next slide. And then I also have a question here from Paul. Paul wants to know if there's a way to get a copy of the Power BI report. Not quite sure I understand this question, Paul, but I'm taking down your details, and I will make sure that someone contacts you afterwards to give you to get more information about your question and to answer that question for you. I'm going to wrap this up. We are actually out of time. My apologies. So let me quickly wrap up the session today. And as a reminder, we have recorded this webinar, and we will be sending out a recording tomorrow or the day after. And you can share that with your colleagues who are maybe unable to attend. And please, I invite you to visit us at cardiologanalytics.com. You can book your free demo, a much more detailed demo of Cardiolog Analytics, also Cardiolog Engage. We also have Cardiolog Enforce as well as Gamify. And you can also tweet us at Cardiolog. And then, like I said earlier, if you have more information or you need more information, please contact us at info@intlock.com. And you can also get some helpful tips and check out our blog at blog.intlock.com. And a huge thanks to everyone who joined us today. And Paul, I will get back to you soon. Have a good rest of your day, everybody.